Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tonye, and this is eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show, the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. It's another Wednesday evening, and I'm so happy to see you. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you who were sending us messages about your WCW. We received them all. Some of you maintain that your woman crush for this Wednesday is still Nana Konedo Ajiman Rollins, as we had last week. And some of you also sent us messages saying that Jean Mensah is the person who you want to choose as your WCW. Fine. Some of us also said that we wanted Rebecca Ekufuado as the WCW. Interesting. So you can still keep your messages coming in. We're going to announce whoever it is that you say you want to represent your WCW for this week. Well, as usual, I normally would like to say a very big thank you to my sponsors who have made it possible for this show to be broadcast to you today. And always, I start with Voltic, my hydration partner. With Voltic, it should come naturally to you to want to take water whenever it's you feel thirsty. So once you feel thirsty, naturally you should feel like, okay, let me grab my Voltic. And whenever we go on commercial breaks during the show, feel free to grab your Voltic. But remember, the Voltic is environmentally friendly and is also asking you to ensure that you deposit your waste in the right way, okay? We do not want the streets of Ghana or the gutters across Africa to be cluttered with plastic waste. All right, Afariwa Styles is also making me look really gorgeous today in my beautiful orange outfit. Thank you so much, Afariwa Styles. And you can locate Afariwa Styles along the Bush Road at Teshi, okay, or in Osu. You can locate her there. And something nice is happening at Afariwa Styles. She actually has put together a gift voucher. So now you can gift your loved ones, your customers, you know, your business partners, or that person that you really want to appreciate this Christmas with a gift voucher from Afariwa Styles. The good thing about it is that you give the person the power to be able to choose colors or styles that they appreciate. Afariwa Styles also are very affordable, and they sew really nice things for both gentlemen and for ladies. So try out Afariwa, okay? And their phone number is actually right now on the base of your screen. So your next shopping should be at Afariwa Styles. Thank you very much. I have a message here from Mass Wedding, and it says, "What God has put together, let no man put asunder." It's that time of the year, and the bells are tolling. It's the 15th edition of Happy FM Valentine Mass Wedding, and Happy FM is calling. Are you ready to walk down the aisle with that special person? Then this is for you. Registration for Valentine Mass Wedding 2021 is ongoing. Simply pick up your form at Happy FM, Asylum Down, or at YFM Accra Mall for only 500 Ghana cedis. Registration for Valentine Mass Wedding is ongoing, so please do not miss out, okay? The registration is all you need to make your dream wedding come through. Your wedding gowns, your suit, your honeymoon package, marriage certificate, and registration are all catered for. This is too good to be true. Wow. Okay, remember that one of the couples stands a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to Dubai. For further enquiries, call 020-2222-069. Okay, so if you're ready to walk down the aisle with that special one, the Happy FM Mass Wedding should be what you should be considering now, because coronavirus has taught us to really think about how we spend, and Happy FM Mass Wedding is trying to give you very beautiful packages to still have your dream wedding. All right, so we're going to be taking you over to the 60 Seconds Update segment, where we talk to you about what's happening with women in Ghana, across Africa, and around the world. So do stay tuned.
Professor Marianne Assanto in Cancer of the Department of Chemistry, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, has been named among the top 10 scientists in Africa. She also found herself being named as part of the top 60 scientists in the 2020 Analytical Scientist Power List. She was also featured in the first ever book on African women in science, a project of the Network of African Science Academies in partnership with the Inter-Academy Partnership in November 2016, in recognition of her contribution to public understanding of science. After failing to achieve her childhood dream of becoming a pediatrician, Genevieve Pearl Duncan Obuobi has been resilient in her pursuit of success and is now a successful banker, top-notch marketer, and an author. She launched her new book titled The Jigsaw Effect on 25th November 2020. When she was asked about the book, she explained that her book has been purposefully written with the entire workforce and anyone aspiring to be a great and successful leader in mind. Its core message is to focus on your strength, work on your skills, and execute to the best of your ability. According to Ohima Dr. Karen Ajiman Prempe, a renowned global health practitioner, estimated 2,000 women die of cervical cancer in Ghana. Even though the disease is known to be a sexually transmitted disease, the doctor of the Asante Otumfo Osetutu II believes that the awareness campaign has to target young girls. She defended her stance when asked on a reputable TV show in France as to how young women should be educated by saying, as early as 9, even before they become sexually active, because human papillomavirus is a sexually transmitted oncogene. In that way, you catch them early. Gospel sensation and songwriter Ohima Mercy, known in private life as Mercy Chum Ampafo, has recounted how she nearly committed suicide by stabbing herself, but for the timely intervention of a Christian brother. According to her, she tried killing herself after she was caught soliciting for money in the name of a prophetess she used to live with in Koforidua, where she spent most of her time growing up without her knowledge. According to her, she felt really embarrassed after being caught and assembled by the church elders, so she entered into her room and took a knife, but thankfully, a brother broke into her room and saved her from her untimely death.
And you're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. Earlier on our Facebook pages, we communicated to you that we're going to be talking to two female lawyers who are going to be talking to us about the contribution of women when it comes to peaceful elections or when it comes to peace processes. Okay, so I'm sure most of you are glued to your seats wanting to know who we are going to be meeting today. Yeah, you saw their pictures, but you're going to be seeing them live on our studios today. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we'll continue the conversations from there. So starting from my immediate right, we have...
I'm Nanadjo Adobe Asante. I'm the acting director of the National Folklore Board and a social activist.
Great.
Yes.
And you are?
Bridget Atakunedu. I'm a founding member of the Social Bridge, Ghana.
Awesome. So we're going to be understanding what the Social Bridge is and what role they are playing when it comes to peaceful processes. And we're also going to be understanding what the folklore is all about. Some of you are probably hearing about it for the first time, or you've been hearing about it but don't really understand what their mandate is. You're going to get to know right now. I'm going to link you to a video, and after the video, then we'll talk more about folklore. Do stay tuned. All right, so while we wait for the video to get ready, I would like to say, when it comes to folklore here in Ghana and our mandate, could you highlight, or would you let the audience know exactly what it means, to know what the mandate of the folklore, National Folklore actually is?
Okay, so the National Folklore Board is a state agency, and we are responsible for the promotion and protection of our folklore. A lot of people, when they hear folklore, think it's an anti-sem folk tales, but it goes beyond that. I keep on saying that folklore and culture are siblings. So culture is the way in which we live, and then folklore is the way in which you express the way you live.
Okay.
So we can use love, and then the way you express love. So the kisses, the hugs, the things you do to show somebody that you love the person, that's folklore. Okay. So culture is the, should I say, for want of a better word, the abstract. And then folklore is how you demonstrate it. So what we wear, to what we eat, to how we speak, how we even gesture, because we're Ghanaians. That's all part of our folklore. Yeah, so it's quite broad. It's quite broad. And with regards to the National Folklore Board, with protection, when you use elements of folklore outside the customary context and or for commercial purposes, you have to seek permission from the National Folklore Board. Someone will say, But folklore is something that's mine as a Ghanaian, so why do I need to seek permission? But the point is that, for instance, we all know the Adinkra symbols.
Yes.
But the most common one is Jinyami. But sometimes when you're using it, somebody can go and put the name Sankofa under the name Jinyami. Yes, and that denigrates our folklore. It denigrates our cultural heritage. It denigrates what our forefathers and mothers have given to us. So in order to ensure that you are using it and using it in the right way, that is the reasoning behind the law that states that you need to seek permission when you use it in certain contexts, such as using it for a logo or using our folklore outside the customary context. So for instance, if it's kente, using kente to design something that is not the usual way in which we use it. For instance, if it's a book cover. Yes. So these are some of the things that the folklore board does. And then we promote our folklore. I think you're going to show a video.
Yes.
Yes, Nakiat's video.
Yeah.
So
let me link you right now to that video.
I learn about the Ghanaian culture in school, especially, and at home. My mother and father teach me the Ghanaian culture, and I find this thing so difficult about it. My gosh, how do they do it? Congratulations to you, everyone who knows how to do this thing. Okay, is Adowa, and this thing, Apojao. What do they call it? What I like most about Ghanaian culture is how we dress, how we eat, how we dance, how we do everything, cook food and do our things, you know. The Ghanaian personalities I remember are Kwadwo Aggrey, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Assanto. We ladies are the Assantos, the current Assantos, yeah, and a lot more. The Ghanaian historical stories I remember is Komfanochi and the Golden Stew. I remember Assanto fought for us and what's the name? The Big Six. Yes, I remember that. My favorite Ghanaian meal is fufu and aponchin kakra and ejuma kwampisi. What a she momani etru obakawozi. My favorite Ghanaian dance is Adowa. Adowa is a unique dance, such a unique dance, and it's very difficult to learn how to dance it. It's very difficult. Look at what I'll do. And how they do, like, they'll do this and they'll do that and
Amazing. Thank you very much, Nakiat, for giving us a bit of tour around Ghanaian culture. So if you're just joining us, this is eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. And today we're going to be discussing the role women are playing when it comes to peaceful processes. So you might be wondering, why are we talking about folklore? We are talking about Ghanaian folklore today because one of our guests, aside being a lawyer, is also the acting director of the National Folklore Board. So we're giving you an understanding of what the folklore of Ghana is and also how it relates to peaceful processes. Now, when it comes to how folklore relates to peaceful processes, let me give you a background. Naturally, people know Ghanaians as very peace-loving people. So because of that, sometimes they feel like, oh, Ghanaians are not aggressive. You know, they're just there. They just like to follow peace with all men. That's how they are. Okay, so she's going to be talking to us about some part of our identity that addresses this piece. From there, we continue with the conversation. So behind the scenes, before now, we're talking about some, aspects of our culture that actually exhibits peaceful processes. Could you let us know what it is?
Exactly. So even with the Adinkra symbols.
The Adinkra symbols.
The Adinkra symbols, yes. There are so many symbols that depict peace. With regards to the Dagbon, you know, the current president.
Sorry to cut you. That's
okay.
what we have on screen right now. For those of you who are watching us from outside of Ghana, the symbol on your screen is the Adinkra symbol. Okay, so these symbols actually have got meanings, and then it symbolizes, you know, something peaceful. She's going to explain it further.
Yes, so let me explain the ones that came on the screen. So there are two. There's a Sinitechema, and there's Denchem Funefu. Funtu Funefu. It's a mouthful.
Yeah,
yes, it is. So with the first one, that looks like it's a 3, a circle, and a 3. It's the teeth and the tongue. Sometimes you accidentally bite your tongue, but it doesn't mean you cut it out and throw it away, or you cut your tongue off because you accidentally bit your tongue. So it's how the teeth and the tongue coexist peacefully in the mouth.
Amazing.
But sometimes they hurt each other. Mostly the tongue gets hurt. But this shows how we as a people are able to coexist, and sometimes we fault each other, or we offend each other. But even if we offend each other, we still have to coexist peacefully, and we understand that it is not for in the long term. We love each other, and sometimes it's part of our nature to offend, but in the end, we all live together peacefully, and we love each other.
Because
so
we grind the food together anyway, the tongue and the teeth work together to eat the food.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Then we come to the one that's the Siamese crocodiles and the Denchem Funefu. So you see they have one stomach. However, they fight for food, but it's going into one stomach. So the theory is that we have a common goal. We are to work together to achieve the common goal. It doesn't matter if it comes through my mouth or your mouth. It's going into the same stomach
anyway.
We'll be full. When as to whether it came through your mouth, the food went into your mouth or my mouth, does not matter.
Yeah.
So that is also a symbol of peace. And then one very important symbol, which unfortunately it's not on the screen, is Bin Kebi. Yes. So that was actually the logo of the 62nd independence of Ghana. And this was because the current president was instrumental in securing peace for the Dagbon people. And with regards to that, it was symbolic that for that year's independence celebration, the Bin Kebi was a symbol, which means that Bin Kebi Minkau, also so menkami. It means don't bite me, I also won't bite you. Yes, so that's also a very important symbol of peace that also was instrumental in our independence, and it symbolized the peace. It was used to symbolize the peace that was secured in the Dagbon conflict.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So now you have an understanding that when it comes to peace, it is part of the Ghanaian identity. And we are all proud to be Ghanaians because we identify with peace, and we are looking forward to a very peaceful process come December 7th. All right, so going away from the folklore and our identity, I mentioned earlier that I've got 2 lawyers here. So somebody may be asking the question, but lawyers, well, there's this perception that lawyers are liars. So why are you bringing people that somehow, you know, are perceived to be people who don't really tell the truth to be talking to us about peace? What would you have to say about that?
The truth is subjective, let's be honest. Your truth might not be my truth. So usually in court, you don't say, my lord, she's lying. Say, my lord, what she's saying is not true or something, because what you might perceive to be your truth might be different from my truth.
Based on the evidences, right?
Based on evidence maybe, but my experience is subjective to me. I might have misunderstood what you said. So really, that's why we go to court, so that we find an independent person, an umpire, who sits there and says, a judge who sits there and says, let me hear you, let me hear you. Oh, no, I disagree with you. Oh, yes. And most of the time in court, actually, the judges find a balance between both parties, to be honest. Sometimes they're like, I was in Sunyane, the judge said they were fighting over a pig, and that the pig was too fatty and he couldn't sell the pig. So the judge said, sell what is there. split the profits between the two of you. I've resolved it.
Case resolved.
That's how they resolved the pig issue. It was a very serious issue for them.
Okay, I think I like that explanation.
Okay.
Would you want to say
yes,
something?
Yes, I want to add on to what Bridget just said. So we have in law, we have, when it's a civil matter, we have on the preponderance of the probabilities. Of course, when it comes to truth, right now, we're sitting here. If I say this bottle is red and you say this bottle is black, yes, it is only how I am able to use facts to prove that this bottle is red, and then how well you are also able to use facts to prove how black this bottle is. That somebody, if it's a third party, the person would be able to come to the conclusion. So it's not, lawyers don't lie. It is just that with the truth, with facts, you can't just say that based on truth, because really, what is truth? What is the truth? So it's about the evidence and how well you are able to present your case. So it is based on the evidence that you are able to adduce, the circumstances, and how probable that your story is, as opposed to the other party. That will help you win a case when it comes to a civil suit. When it's criminal, it is beyond reasonable doubt, meaning that it's not that it is 100%, it's certainly 100% truth. But what will a reasonable person think if you are given all these sets of facts and this evidence? What would a reasonable person think? That yes, this person is guilty or this person is not guilty. That is why there is the mode for redress. You can appeal a case because it is not 100% foolproof, because obviously we are human beings. And I like this saying, and Macbeth, Shakespeare writes that there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face of a man. And I have added of a woman too. So I can't look at you and say that you are a liar or you are truthful. And that is how it is. It is only the circumstances and the evidence that we can use to tell what can probably be true. And that is what, as a lawyer, is our mandate, and that is what we are to do. Our training is to ensure that when you have a client and you are to adduce evidence to prove a case, but it doesn't mean that it will always be the truth, because we all cannot tell what the truth is.
All right, that's very true. But somebody might also be saying that, but sometimes this fact or the evidence can be planted. But that is for another conversation. We are going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue with our conversation on the peaceful processes. Do stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. So we are diving deeper right now into the peaceful processes. And we can't do this without mentioning an NGO that is seeing to peaceful elections and several other, empowering or several other initiatives that are helping society here in Ghana and even beyond. And it's called the Social Bridge. It's an NGO. And good for us, we've got somebody here who is a founding, who's one of the founders, right? Yeah. For the NGO, and she's going to be talking to us about what they stand for or what they advocate for, and then we'll continue from there. So just let us know, what is the Social Bridge?
The Social Bridge is an NGO, like you've mentioned, and we've been around since 2012. We generally we identify social needs, and what social changes we can make, we can contribute to. So we identify them, then we try and make impact. And so far, we've identified needs, mostly people on the streets, like the Kayaye. So one of our campaigns that we did was Educate the Streets, where we tried to secure scholarship from some of the Kayaye girls. And then sometimes too, we take them to seminars to empower the women, because you'd be surprised that they save some money that they make. We've also done the Heal the Streets campaign. We organized medical screening, provided medicines, basic medicines, your typical malaria treatment drugs, painkillers, the basic multivites, and we provided that for mostly the Kayas, but we had people too on the streets coming. Then there's also Santa Claus on the streets.
Okay, so when you say provide, you mean you give it to them for free?
Yes, for free.
Okay.
For free. We chip in ourselves and we get donors coming in. We've also been to the Children's Hospital, and we provided them, we made a donation where we gave them, we gave most of the children in the wards, we gave them baby food, We gave them all out, we gave them baby food. And then, so we've done the Heal the Streets campaign, we've done Educate the Streets campaign, we've done Santa Claus. That was every year. Every year we threw a Christmas party for the...
And Christmas is around the corner again.
Yes, yes it is.
Is it happening?
This year, yes, we're in the process, it's in the works.
Okay.
To happen.
Awesome.
And then in 2016, another need that we found was wanted peace on the streets. So we began the No Giddy Giddy Peace campaign.
Yeah, I've seen the hashtag.
Yes.
It's very strong.
Yes. So
hashtag
one of
No
the
Giddy Giddy.
No Giddy Giddy, No Giddy Giddy. So one of the highlights of that campaign was we went round hotspots that we had identified, the EC had identified. We got about 7, and we projected a giant screen, and we showed the effects of war. I mean, we are lucky that we don't have that, but we have other people's stories that we can tell. So we project that Liberia, Sierra Leone, and some of these fiction movies to show the effects of war, how bad war is, and how it can totally destroy a nation over things like resources or just power that people want to come. And you'll be surprised how the people are moved. I remember that after the 2016 elections, we got feedback that one gentleman at Ashaman had thought of, you know, going to get giddy giddy, and he remembered what he had seen on the screen. We show
about the outcome of what wars and conflicts bring about.
Yes, we show it uncensored, raw images, how bad it is, and then we also explain to them in a language they can understand what is going on, what they are seeing on the screen. So, so in 2016, that was a social need that we identified and that we tried to impact. So this year, again, we are back with our No Giddy Giddy Peace campaign, and we did the same thing in 2016. We're doing the Peace Pledge, and as many people as wanted to would submit their pictures, and then we'd brand them, and then they would pledge for peace.
Okay, I think from what you're saying, we actually went around your page, and we were able to see stuff about what you're doing around No Giddy Giddy. So please, if the director can put that on the screen, let's see what the message around the hashtag No Giddy Giddy is all about. Okay, so while we wait for them to get that together, I actually love the part where we had, you know, John Mahama and Nana Akufo-Addo actually, you know, together, even with Jean Mensa, where they were all together trying to ensure that there's going to be peaceful election for Ghana here in 2020. It was really a very good initiative, and I'm hoping that before the end of the program we'll be able to put that video up, where I've seen even regular Ghanaians and even some celebrities. I saw Trigmatic. He actually had a post where he was saying that he was pledging, you know, for peace. And the peace pledge you also mentioned is also a good one, and I want to say we'll all pledge to the peace as women, you know, and as a nation. That's good. Maybe at the end of the program. That's good. So Nana Jo, you want to add something to it?
I think when you started, you said the Women Crush Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes, and I was happy that Jean Mensa was part, because I think I read the Social Bridge article about the fact that she's doing very well, and that let's leave her alone to do her work. And I think I'm happy that a lot of people admire her and what she's doing, which is commendable. And of course, for the peace process to advance, there is the need to allow the institutions to work. And I think she's done very well, and there is the need to commend her. And then as the Social Bridge put it,
for the transparency that they are trying to put to the process. We've opened the register, go look. You know, it's good. It's good. So for that alone, transparency, when people have doubts, and then that's when they start to get funny thoughts in their mind, they have a lot of questions. So transparency is good. It's good that she's trying to push the transparency agenda. For that, the Social Bridge commented for it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's amazing. And apart from that, we are all women, and we're supporting women.
Yes,
anyway.
exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So keep doing the good job, Jean Mensa. So when it comes to negotiation for peace, would you say women are better mediators or negotiators? What would you want to say about that?
Okay. So women generally, and there are a lot of conventions that advocate for the involvement of women when it comes to the peace process. And it's for, I don't like to stereotype with regards to women, but I think that we make up more than 50% of the population. So of course, if there is the need to negotiate, mediate, it is only fair that we are also at the table, because when it comes to conflict, that plagues a nation, it affects women and it affects men. I don't like to stereotype, so I wouldn't say women are better negotiators
or
than men.
Okay.
But studies do show that women are better. As to whether I agree or not, it's a different case. But studies do show that women are better negotiators and they're able to secure peace at a faster rate. And there are so many examples. For instance, okay, we'll come to that. So let Bridget.
Okay, so what would you want to say about, who is a better negotiator or mediator, or would you want to tell the same line? You don't want to say, okay, this person is better.
All of us have heard these stories about our mothers saying that, oh, don't worry, they are going to get daddy to eat what we actually want him to eat, but they make it look like it's his.
Yes.
And that's one thing about negotiation, making everybody walk away from the table like they've achieved something. It's like, yeah, so I was able to push what I wanted, but they don't know that we've actually gotten everybody to move how we want them to move towards a common goal, but everybody walks away from the table feeling fulfilled. And that's good, because that means they're not going to come back to cause havoc. So if our mothers had those skills and they taught us how to maneuver their way through things, and I can see that, coming out at the negotiating table, because they've been doing that for a long time, and they're passing it on to us. And we're going to pass it on to our kids too.
Awesome. So we're going to go for another quick commercial break. When we return, we are going to want to hear from you when we open the lines. You tell us who you think is a better negotiator or mediator, women or men. Well, I hope that women get to win this, okay? So just stay tuned. The eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show, the conversation has been really, really interesting. We started from Ghana's folklore and how Ghanaians identify as peaceful people because it's part of our cultural identity. And then we moved to the NGO called Social Bridge and what they are doing to ensure that we are having a peaceful election. And then now, we also asked, or before we went on the commercial break, we were asking who we thought was a better negotiator or mediator. And both guests were able to give what they felt. And we said when we open the phone lines, we'd like to hear from you and what you think about who is a better negotiator or mediator. So I'm coming back to you, Nana Adwoa. I would like to know, do you really think that it really matters for women to be involved when it comes to, talking about peace? Because in Africa, culturally, we are really not heard. We are meant to be just seen. And over time, we've been advocating and requesting that women, should be, allowed to also talk and have a voice. And that's actually the reason why we have this show, African Women's Voices Show, because we want to amplify the voice of, of any woman, wherever the woman is, once you are a Ghanaian or any African at all. What would you say about this? Do you think it really matters for a woman to be part of the peace conversation?
Okay, so I'm actually pursuing my master's in gender, peace and security.
Okay.
And one important thing is the gender roles. So the fact that women, when it comes to who a man is, who a woman is, since we were kids, we've been sensitized to think that a little girl can plays with a cooking set, whilst the boy plays with cars or action figures. And if the roles are reversed, something is going wrong. And this has informed why the African woman, for instance, may be perceived to be, should I say, more coy than the Western lady, because with the Western world, gender roles are being gradually abandoned. However, what I believe in is that you should have the choice. I should have the choice to be a woman who serves her husband food and it's normal. I should have the choice also to be a woman who decides not to get married. I should have the choice to be a woman who decides that I will not have children. And that is what is important, the choice to do what you want to do. It's not society or any, should I say, any religion or the likes that influences what you need to do, you want to do. But you have the choice, for no pun intended, you have the choice to choose what you want to do. And when it comes to peace, this is very important in the sense that with women, as more than 50% of the population, it is only fair that as women, we should have a seat at the table. However, that is not the case. It's unfortunate, and there is the need for this to change. So this show, for instance, is very commendable, and it helps other women, and it helps empower women. We have two types of women. We have women who have been empowered and women who have not been empowered. Yes. So when it comes to the empowered woman, our needs are different. When it comes to the woman who has not been empowered, our needs are different. And shows like this help showcase what the empowered woman needs, and then also helps us as empowered women to see how best we can help the unempowered woman, like the Kayaye living on the streets.
Okay, so when it comes to peace, talking about peace matters, so is it something that an empowered woman should be involved in, or the woman who's not empowered, or just any woman should be allowed to talk about, peace matters?
So it's any woman. Actually, we've seen that. Let me give two examples so you see how the empowered woman and the unempowered woman all contributed to peace. So in Liberia, during the war, women played a very important role in ensuring that we had peace. They had peace. So the empowered woman, Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, as the president, was very important in, before she became, was very important in the peace process, in ensuring that there was peace in Liberia. So she is the empowered woman who contributed to ensuring that there was peace. Then we have the unempowered women who, when there was a meeting in Accra to ensure that there was peace, the men were not seeing eye to eye. And do you know what the women did?
Okay.
So they blocked them. They said, you're not
them.
leaving this room. You're not leaving this place until you come together and sit down and discuss and resolve your conflict. So in the end, we got the Accra Agreement, which was the first step towards peace in Liberia. So empowered, unempowered, we all have a role to play in the peace process.
I wanted to add that the UN too is doing well. There's this resolution, I think 1325 of the Security Council, and they underscore how women should be allowed to participate in the peace process. And the UN has taken a step forward, so they're allowing women to be on the ground, either as military or as negotiators or as people educating people on the streets. So it's all sorts of women, not just women, photographers, all those who are trying to be involved. They are opening up, and I think this has been since 2000, 2002. They've been opening up to allow more women to be at the negotiating table, particularly because, and I appreciated that, women are the greatest victims in any conflict. Talk about the sexual abuse. You find it's the women and children. We are most vulnerable, where our girls are raped, our children, we are just the most pitied of the lots, women and children. So if it comes to our protection, then it only makes sense for us to have a say, because we are going to lose more. We can't run as fast as the man from the conflict when it is coming. So most refugees are women and children. So women and children need, women especially, we need to have a say. We need to be at the table, because we are the ones going to suffer most when it comes to conflicts, when it comes to wars on the ground.
So that leads to, so we've talked about what's happening across the world and in Africa. So bringing it back home, part of what Social Bridge is doing is the No Gidi Gidi, the hashtag. So I think at this point, the footages or the pictures are available for people to get to see what's is happening with the Social Bridge. So, like we mentioned earlier, part of the important thing that you have put out with this No Gidi Gidi is the fact that it's very neutral. It's not looking at any particular political party. And from what we saw on the screen, it cuts across. You see the everyday Ghanaian saying no gidi gidi, and they are pledging, to be peaceful. You are seeing political leaders also saying likewise. You're seeing Jean Mensa also pledging to be peaceful, and even campaign managers of the various political parties. And I think that is really commendable, because it's getting everyone to really understand that the peaceful process takes everyone, women and men. It's something that we all have to identify with. And like we've always been preaching everywhere, the media has been saying everyone should go to the polls, you know, with an agenda to vote peacefully and then probably go home and wait for the results to be announced. And we are hoping that Ghanaians, being peace-loving people, as our culture has made us to be, that's what we're going to be seeing, because we don't want to see the cases of what happened in the other African countries that you've been showcasing. Okay, so we're going to be going for our final commercial break. When we return, we are going to... Okay, all right. So our producer is giving us some extra time to be able to have our discussion. I think I'm going to be opening the phone lines right now to have your say on what you think. Initially, we asked if you want to say if a woman is a better mediator or negotiator. You could call us and let us know what you think. And you could also call in just to share your peace message or whatever it is that you want to talk about, you know, around the topic that we are having. So the peace pledge. How did the peace pledge come about?
Well, back in 2016, we was part of all the brainstorming sessions, and we didn't want it to be just a team of people in the NGO. We didn't want to be the NGOs and our volunteers just involved in the process or going on the streets, because when we're on the streets showing the war movies, we're targeting those local communities or the hotspots. We wanted a way to reach middle class or upper class, if you like. We wanted to use social media to push the campaign. So one of the ideas that came was the peace pledge, that we get as many people as possible to take this pledge, and hoping that there would be some small amount of peace, you know, obligation that the person would feel by taking this pledge. And hopefully at the right time, and I always tell people, at the time when you have to decide if you're going to escalate things, we are hoping that at that time, you remember that it's not worth it, because it really isn't. It really, really isn't. Liberia is struggling. Sierra Leone, it's not worth it, you know.
No, at least the latest one that we saw was the NSARS in Nigeria, for instance.
Yeah,
we've seen what conflict brings about. It's something
crazy.
that nobody wants to relate to at all.
No, it's not. And I know for Liberia and Sierra Leone, they have a whole generation that's uneducated, a whole generation. And the people that they were protesting against, the people that you rose up against, it was the political elite. And guess what? They had their children outside getting educated. So which people are now running the country? The children of that elite. And you have a whole generation that couldn't go to school because of war.
So it's going to take a longer time to get people to
it's
at least fill up the
absolutely
spaces.
a messed up system. And we can't go there. We can't go there. At no cost should Ghana go there. So we were using the peace pledge to also try and reach a certain criteria of people that please take this pledge, and hopefully at the right time you wouldn't go and instigate some violence or so that could go wide on social media.
Okay.
And what Bridget said has drawn my attention to it echoes the fact that education is so important. In security studies, we mentioned something called human needs-based security. So initially, the concept of security used to be state-centered, in the sense that it's about how much willpower, the power, the force of your military, how you're able to protect your borders. But now, security is actually what makes you feel secure. Food security, how you feel, job security. This is all part of your security. So your human needs to be satisfied. Your needs need to be satisfied in order for you to feel secure. So when it comes to conflict, one very important thing is that the developmental ecosystem should be sound. There shouldn't be inequality. People shouldn't feel that they are marginalized. So a system where everything works, where people are educated, where they have access to education. These are some of the things that help avoid conflict, help conflict not to arise, because everyone, at least at the barest minimum, gets their food, their livelihood, opportunities, and then their opportunities. So it's very important to have a very good developmental ecosystem if we want to avoid conflict.
Okay, great. So I'm going to our Facebook page, and I'm seeing quite a good number of comments, and I'm seeing people say, okay, hello, I'm watching you from Saudi Arabia. And we have a caller right now. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
I can hear you. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Chrissy. I'm calling from North Legon.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually calling to actually commend the new project happening. I think it's a good way to see women actually campaigning for peace in these
Nice.
crucial times.
Nice.
But I was actually thinking I would hear more about women in politics too, because women, I've been hearing women going to the table, women sitting at the table, women doing the table thing. But if the people running for, these bigger positions now, I don't see a lot of women in there. What do you think women are? I want to hear more about the women in politics and how they should go for the more higher positions to be able to make crucial decisions, as the way nobody also trying to push peace at this time. We also need more women to sit at the big table to make good decisions for the entire women body, because like they were saying, women are about 50% in the country, and we don't have any more women gunning for higher positions in the country. So I want to hear more about that too, women in politics. That's what I was saying.
Okay, thank you very much. So the social bridge has heard and they would consider it.
Yes,
All
we
right,
will.
all right,
Thank you very much.
all right.
Okay, so back
And
to
maybe
Facebook
as an
page.
example, I think there are women, even in current governance, there are women in high places. Having a woman chief of staff is no small feat. So there are women in high places, but of course there is the need for more. But when the need for more doesn't mean also that there should be tokenism. When you go to certain places, certain countries, for instance, they actually just say, okay, there is the need for a woman. So it doesn't matter if you are good quality, you are just placed there. But it's about the quality of women and being placed in positions. And I think we have a female chief of staff. That's commendable.
And we actually are having initiatives that are actually empowering people via education now. So in time, we're going to have a lot more people educated, a lot more girls educated, who would end up taking up those positions that you are looking out for, okay? All right, so those on our Facebook page may just have to be like, you don't want to read our messages today. Okay, so from Saudi Arabia, you say, thank you very much, the lady lawyers. They are very apt, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you. So from Casablanca, you say, oh, this is a very wonderful conversation. I'm happy that women are beginning to think about talking about peaceful elections. I wish Ghana a happy and a peaceful election. Thank you very much. That's from Morocco. I also have people giving us a wave from the UK, from Bangkok, from Thailand. We see you all. Thank you so much. I see Elizabeth Saka Ejaye name sending a wave from Accra, Ghana. I see Harold Adefu also sending a wave. Thank you all very, very much. We see you all here on our Facebook page, and we say we're happy to have you to make your contributions and continue to make your contributions, okay? So just before we end the show tonight, we're going to talk about the Peace Pledge and how we are all going to pledge to it. But we have a footage of some notable Ghanaians who have done the Peace Pledge. So let's have a look at what they did, and we will return.
My name is Reverend Dr. Joyce Rosalind Ayi. I'm the Executive Director of Salt and Light Ministries. I pledged to vote on December 7th, 2020. And I'm asking every eligible voter to do the same so that we can build a good country.
All right, so let's take the Peace Pledge together. We'll go after you if you just take the lead, and we take the Peace Pledge.
So I, and you put in your name, okay? So I,
Eunice Tonyi,
Nana Adobe Asante,
pledge to be peaceful.
pledge to be peaceful
During the elections.
during the elections.
No giddy giddy.
No giddy giddy giddy. All right, I hope you also made that pledge wherever you are watching us from. Thank you so much to our sponsors who saw us through today. Voltic, thank you so much. Afariwa Styles, thank you so much. I'll Be Bites Catering Services, thank you so much. And My Hair by Awos Hair, I really say thank you. I'm happy that you are all here with us, helping us to ensure that the program comes to our viewers every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So the repeat broadcast of this show will come to you again on Saturday at 12 noon. So do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.